Hi guys, Ian here, welcome to my channel and to another video. And this video, which is long overdue, is the last one in the series of the God names, Archangels and Order of Angels of the Sephirah on the Tree of Life. And today we're going to look at Yesod and just some thoughts that I have about that. And you know, these are just my thoughts, okay, and some of the conclusions that I've come to, and so you know, don't take them as gospel, but if you watch the video, just have a little think about them and see whether they make any sense to you. So I'm not claiming to be any great expert on this. This is just the things that sort of come to me as I study the Tree of Life. Well, let's look at Yesod then, and if you're familiar with the Tree of Life, you'll know, and I just need to make reference to Malkut Kingdom a little bit before we go on. And if you know the image of the Tree of Life, you'll see that Malkut Kingdom, 3D physical manifestation, seems to hang like a little appendage off the bottom of the tree. And it's like if the Tree of Life are the 9 Sephirah from Keter to Yesod, and the 10th, Malkut, hanging off the tree can be considered to be the fruit of the tree. And if Malkut is the fruit of the tree, the last part of the tree that we see before we see the fruit of the tree is Yesod. Now, if Yesod is the last part of the tree itself, before we come to the fruit of the tree, then we see that it's the base of the tree and it is the foundation. And indeed, Yesod is called foundation. Now, what do we know about foundations? We know, don't we, that the foundations of a building or the foundations of anything bring to mind that which holds the weight of everything that sits on top of it. Foundations of a building, they bear everything that sits on top of the foundations. So the foundations have to be really strong, otherwise the whole thing collapses. So if Yesod is the foundation of the Tree of Life, the Sephirah on which the activities of everything else sits, and it is also the foundation of 3D physical manifestation, we would expect to see strength represented in the God names, the archangels, an order of angels of Yesod. So let's have a little look then and see if we do. Well, let's start off with the God name, which is Shaddai El Chai. Now again, I don't have any Hebrew, so if I'm slaughtering the pronunciation, please forgive me. Now there's some disagreement about what this name actually means, but it's between living Almighty God and God who nourishes, all-sufficient God. It's along those lines, and it speaks of the absolute sufficiency, the power, the strength, the fact that divinity is everything that is needed, and completely satisfying all needs, all requirements, and here of physical manifestation. So we see that this is one of the names that depict divinity as strong and mighty and totally up to the task, if you like, of not only creation itself, but the sustaining of creation, the second by second continuation of the creation that was brought into being. And what interests me is, I can't give you a source now, but there was one famous physicist who said that existence, you know, second by second existence is a 50-50 chance whether or not we get the next second, because there are so many things that have to happen and be in balance and harmony and for continuation to exist, that we could as equally not exist as we do exist. And all of this to me speaks of the fact that there is a power, there is an intelligence that sustains creation on a second by second basis. So for me, the God name of Yesod fits really well with what I understand Yesod to be. And what's also very interesting, I think, is one of the titles of Yesod is the treasure house of images. Well, images of what? Well, images of everything, because if you've done any sort of reading or study into the theories of Kabbalah, you will know that 3D physical manifestation is not where creation starts. 3D physical manifestation is the place where matter clothes a blueprint, a design, a conception, a concept that first has its place in Yesod, in the astral. That everything that exists in physical manifestation first exists in the astral light, where it sits as a template upon which physical matter then orders itself in our world. So we see that, this title for Yesod, the treasure house of images, is very appropriate, because everything in physical manifestation is there also. And this is why, for the practice of magic and ceremonial magic, witchcraft, we talk about effecting a change first of all in the astral, that it might then manifest itself in the physical, in the world of matter, in the world of Malkut. Anyway, before I go off on too much of a tangent, so we looked at the God name. Let's look at the Archangel. Now, the Archangel of Yesod is Gabriel, and the meaning of Gabriel is God is my strength, or strength of God. So again, we're having a reference in Yesod to strength. Foundations, strength. God, strength. The Archangel, strength of God. And I thought about Gabriel, in biblical scriptures, and Gabriel was always the messenger, wasn't he? The one who would announce. And yeah, that's pretty appropriate too, because if Gabriel is the envoy of divinity, the emissary, if you like, what better place to put him as the Archangel, as the point where the workings of divinity become physical manifestation. Right at the point where spirit starts taking form as the foundation of matter in Yesod, that's where Gabriel sits. The herald of God at the point where spirit starts to meet the first formings of matter in the astral light. So for me, Gabriel sits very well in his role as the Archangel of Yesod, and I'm sure you'll be very pleased to know that I think so. Okay, well finally then, let's look at the order of angels. Now, when I looked at this really blew my mind, because the order of angels for Yesod is the Cherubim, or the Cherubim. Now when we talk about Cherubim, we are not talking about those babies with wings, those romanticized little cheruby things that I think are something left over from the Romans. No, we're talking about the Cherubim, who in biblical and Judaic texts are very powerful spiritual beings. And if we look at where we see them in other places, before we see them as the angels of Yesod, we will get a bit of an idea of that. Now in the book of Ezekiel, and I'm not mixing Ezekiel and Elijah up today, you'll be pleased to know, definitely Ezekiel. Ezekiel talks about creatures, 4 creatures, who bear the throne of God. And when God, divinity, source, whatever your concept of God is, descends, now remember, right, that that divinity does not descend, a reflection of divinity, a representation of divinity descends. Think of the four worlds, right? Divinity in the world of absolute, it does not, divinity itself does not descend down through the worlds, but a reflection and a representation does. So Ezekiel sees a representation of divinity descending and sitting on a throne, and the throne is born and is moved by these four cherubim. And when we talk of the cherubim, we talk about they are representative of the will of divinity, because it says that the spirit of the cherubim were in the wheels that moved the throne of God. So when we talk of the cherubim, we talk about the spiritual beings that execute the intentions and the purposes of divinity. Now, strong, powerful spiritual beings as the angels of Yesod. And to me, the link that I'm making is, okay, that if we've got the same beings overseeing the running and the sustaining of creation, as are bearing the throne of God, we begin to see how important 3D physical manifestation, the world of matter, Malkut, kingdom is. We begin to see how much importance divinity invests in its creation and in us, the pinnacle of the creation of the divine. The beings that move the throne of God order the second by second running of the universe. Wow. So, yeah, when I've looked at those associations with Yesod, they've made a lot of sense to me, and I think that's important, because if we're looking at Kabbalistic texts and we're reading stuff and it really doesn't make any sense to us, then we can't really integrate it into our own understanding of Kabbalah, can we? And more importantly, into our own understanding of what this is all about, what existence is all about. So I hope there was something in that made some sense to you, and that you enjoyed my video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye now.